Hey everybody. Hey, in this video I want to show you day to day kind of what my mileage does. Today is June 1st, 2021. It's a Tuesday. It's a short week, so I thought, you know what, this would be perfect time for me to just kind of collage all of these the rest of the days together in one video and show you every morning and every evening what my my driving averages are and how it kind of impacted by different things. So let's get started on this. Today, as you can see, I did just finish full charge of my car. 61 degrees outside, and there's no kilowatts used yet. I did precondition my car, but it was still plugged into the wall. This is going to be my starting gate right here. I'm going to reset this, and you'll see that 4.1 will change to 3.9. That's the standard across the board on these cars, on the Chevy Bolt, on their mile per kilowatt. Now that will change as you drive, and it's based on your speed and your aggressiveness of driving, how that really impacts that, and if you're using your temperature controls. And then, of course, weather conditions. And I'll show you something else here in a sec. Over on the left, I've kind of hinted on this before, where don't buy into that. I can elaborate more on that, and I may as the week goes on. You may hear me repeat things, so just bear with me. One of the key things to kind of keep track of on this video, watch my mileage on the bottom left-hand side. By you keeping an eye on that, you'll know that I'm not kidding. You know, you'll be able to add these two distances up and that mileage to the distance, and you'll know I'm telling you the truth. This is what it is. What that bar graph does over there, each one of those bars is approximately 5%. Well, it is 5% of the battery. Each one of those bars. Now, that varies. I've seen people talk about those bars being all 3.7 kilowatts each. Well, it kind of is, and it kind of isn't. It actually does change. There is a variance to that depending on how you're driving. If you're driving more aggressive, of course, your average mile per kilowatt, where the 3.9 is, impacts what that is over there on the left-hand side. The variance was within those percentages is pretty small. I mean, it'd be like let's say probably 0.3 to 0.4 differences that I've noticed. And what that means is when I look over here, and I've used one bar over there, this kilowatt right here used could be anywhere from, I've seen it as low as 3.2. Once you get going down the road and your batteries warm up and your car kind of gets used to running again. It's kind of funny how these cars work, but that's kind of how it is. Right at start on my particular car, and I'm not hard on it, and I do have hills, and I'm doing in-town driving for approximately 3 miles. Once I get out on the highway, it's highway miles for today, 94 miles. So what that does, though, what it kind of does is that will show you, you'll see 3.4 or even, I've seen it upwards in 4 points, anywhere 4.5, 4.4. But when you see one of these bars drop off on the left-hand side, you look over there, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what percentage is being used out of those bars. That's where I say that it's not really accurate on how it tries to treat all this. And it goes by the driving history of the vehicle. And I'll give you an example of this. This screen right here that Chevrolet put in this car is absolutely useless. If you're using this screen and you're driving one of these cars, well, good luck to you, because it's not really telling you the whole story. And I can explain how that is. And if you're driving one of these, you'll understand what I'm talking about real quick. It says technique. Right now it says I'm a negative 0.2. I haven't even left the driveway yet. What do you mean I'm a negative 0.2 on my technique? My car hasn't moved. Okay? And then also the terrain will go negative too as you're driving sometimes. Now these numbers will fluctuate. They'll go positive, negative. I mean, when I first bought this car, I watched this screen a lot. But then as I learned more about this vehicle, I learned this screen doesn't do anything. It's false information, because it may tell me I'm having like a negative 2.1 on my technique, and I'll have my cruise set at 65 mile an hour, and it'll be 61 degrees outside, just like today. And it may say I have a negative technique and a negative terrain, and I drive the same route for about 70 miles every day. It varies at the very end of that route, towards the end. So what I'm getting at with this is my technique is the exact same every day. I set my cruise exactly at 65 mile an hour. I never change. So that number, if this car is that smart and doing the calculations right, should be the same every time I drive my car. It is not. It may tell me one day I'm doing a technique of +4 or 4.0 plus. Hey man, I'm really driving good. No, this car, it doesn't understand that. And I'm telling you this because wind will play a factor in that, and temperature plays a factor in that. And if you set your climate control, those numbers will be affected. Your technique and your terrain and your climate. Your climate controls will actually affect all three of those. So like I say, this screen here is really deceiving. So I don't buy into this screen. I kind of stay away from it. So just kind of be watching this as you're driving these cars. If you own these cars, like I said, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And a lot of people, they get off that screen and they go back to this screen right here. This is the most useful screen you can have. I'll show you the other screen. There's only 3 screens. Okay, this screen right here shows you your driving technique as far as the last 5 miles, how efficient you're driving. And yeah, well, as you can see, this car gets up, above 6 if you're in town driving. This is all highway driving except for, at the start, or at the end. I started 35 miles away from here. Well, it says 50 is where it was really efficient, so maybe I drove 50 miles. But in-town driving is the peaks. The highway driving are the ones that are down there about 3.7, 3.9. So it averages out, and that's where that 4.1 comes from. So, like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you this screen too. If anybody's got any questions on it, I can elaborate a little bit more on it. This tab right here, that one actually shows your instant. So it's like if you're pushing on the gas, that'll go down. If you're letting off the gas, it'll kind of go up. So that's your instant. And then you can reset this every time if you want. I just leave it alone. I don't mess with it. So like I said, I just leave mine set on this screen right here. Okay, so this is where we're at. I'm starting with 0 miles on my distance. 237 miles. That's pretty accurate today on that. That's pretty close to what this car will do easily. As I drive through the day, it'll get a little better. In fact, it'll push it up some days as it warms up into like a 260, a 270 pretty easy. So I just wanted to give you guys a touch on it, and this will be the first video. All right. I will see you all later. Sorry about the hand. I'll see you all later, and I'll keep you tracked up this week. I was going to make this all one video, but I'm already 8 minutes in, so let's not do that. Let's make a video, one per day, and I'll post them every day. So I'll add to this one. It'll probably be about 10 minutes long once I get to the house tonight. So, all right, folks. I'll see you in a little bit. All right. I made it back. My grandson had a baseball game, so we had to go and watch him play t-ball. So I'm just now finishing the video up. I do want to add into this video that I didn't show what my mileage was when I arrived at my location where I was going and when I left, because when I did do that, it was going to take too long. This video was going to run really, really long. So I shortened it up. I'm just going to add this to it. So here I am back at the house. I'm losing my voice because pollen and cottonwood in the air. All right, so what I ended up doing today was I drove 202 miles, used 46 kilowatts of energy, okay? And then, let's go over here. My charge cord is connected, but I haven't started charging yet. So where I'm at, as you can see, is I have 137 miles left. Okay, the reason why that is because while I was at my stop, I try to charge a little bit while I'm there just because when I get home, there's more energy in the batteries, and it's less I got to spend out of my pocket because I go to Chevrolet dealerships and they let me charge for free. So it ended up putting 61 miles back onto the car before I left there. You subtract that from the 137, would have left me with 76 miles for the day left to go. So, that's 278 miles if I would have continued to drive that way, potentially. As you can see now, my miles per kilowatt is 4.4. I had a tailwind coming back. That's really good. You see me reset that earlier at what it was, and it was 3.9. And it did that pretty well all the way to my first stop, which was 93 miles away, 94 miles away. And once I started coming back, the tailwind, it was actually 4.0 when I got there, bouncing back and forth to 3.9, 4.0. On my way back, the tailwind really helped. It wasn't a strong wind, but it was a little bit of a tailwind. Plus, it warmed up to 76 degrees today. So it makes a big difference. Okay, so like I was saying, just kind of keep an eye on my mileage down there in the bottom left-hand screen. And I'll post another video tomorrow. I try not to make them as long. And maybe if I can shorten it up, I can show you my stops as I go tomorrow. But I will not charge tomorrow at my stops. I go straight to where I'm going and I come back. I don't recharge. And you'll see what that day is like. All right. I'd like to thank you guys all for watching. And just keep staying tuned to these videos. And I'll keep posting them. Keep adding subscribers here and there. Hey, that's great. I do appreciate people subscribing. That's not why I'm doing this. If you want to subscribe after watching my videos, hey, thank you very much. Oh, give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. If you like what you're seeing, give me a comment. I'll try to keep everything as good as I can for everybody, and hopefully keep everybody interested in what I'm doing, and I can provide good information, valid information that everybody's looking for. I got a lot more ideas on video, so keep tuned. All right, thank you guys. You have a good night. Thanks.